After a disastrous cruise back in 2023, where overcrowding turned everything into a struggle, we didn't have high hopes when we booked another ship on the same cruise line. We fully expected more of the same, but to our surprise, the ship didn't just exceed expectations, it became one of our favorite cruises of the entire year. And it wasn't the only surprise. In 2024, we sailed on 10 different ships that delivered unforgettable highs and a few unexpected lows. So today I'm ranking all 10 cruises we took in 2024 from worst to best. There were some major surprises in the rankings, especially at the top. So trust me, you don't want to miss this. Hey y'all, I'm Evan with Family at Sea, where we help make every cruise unforgettable. In today's video, we're ranking all 10 cruises we took in 2024. This video will cover which ships stood out for all the right reasons, unexpected surprises that reshaped our view of certain cruise lines, and the ship that claimed the #1 spot as our favorite of the year. So stick around as we dive into our best and worst cruises of 2024. If you're ready, I am. Let's go. Before we dive into the rankings, I want to explain how I'm scoring these cruises. While the ports and itineraries are an important part of the overall experience, I'm focusing solely on the ships themselves for this list. Another factor I've decided to leave out is the suite experience. On some cruises, staying in a suite absolutely elevated our trip and could have shifted the rankings completely. But since 95% of passengers are not sailing in suites, I'm going to keep things fair by focusing on the ship as a whole. And right out of the gate, the list starts with a surprising pick for our least favorite cruise ship of the year. So let's dive into the rankings and see how it all played out.
Okay, let's get it started.
Starting from the bottom all the way down at number 10, our least favorite cruise of 2024 was aboard the Sun Princess. This was our first time sailing with Princess Cruises, which we understood to be a premium line competing with Celebrity, which is one of our personal favorites. Unfortunately, the experience did not live up to those expectations. One of the main reasons we booked this cruise was the anticipation of Park 19, which was going to be a top deck activity zone with attractions like the Sea Breeze roll glider and all sorts of other fun activities. But before we sailed, Princess announced these would not open as planned, which was a major disappointment for not only us, but for thousands of people that chose to cruise on the Sun Princess. Embarkation day, it really set the tone for what was to come. There are no assigned boarding times on Princess, which means you get there and there's a long line and total chaos. On board, the ship's layout felt cramped, with venues that were far too small to handle the crowds. Finding seating in lounges, theaters, and dining areas was a constant challenge. The dome shows that we had read were supposed to be incredible, but also require you getting there 1 to 2 hours in advance to find a seat, were canceled entirely due to an equipment failure the week before. The casino was one of the most crowded we have ever experienced, and the smoking policy was, well, when you combine that with the poor ventilation, it caused the smoke smell to spread not only throughout the entire casino, but into the piazza as well, which is really the heart of the entire ship. It was not ideal. Specialty dining was a struggle. Princess offers their Princess Premier package, which is honestly a really good value if the ship has the capacity to offer what they do, but the Sun Princess did not have the capacity. It was simply overbooked. So that meant trying to get a reservation at any of the restaurants was nearly impossible. In fact, we had reservations before the cruise for Crown Grill, which is their steakhouse, and we were so excited about that because we love a good steak, and they were canceled without notice, not once, but twice. We would just be looking at the app that day and we'd notice, hey, our reservation's gone, and then they'd schedule us another day, and that happened twice before they finally ended up booking us in Love by Brito, which was a good experience, but we wanted the steakhouse and we simply didn't get to experience it. So that was honestly pretty disappointing. But with that said, it wasn't all bad. The piazza was lively and always filled with surprises every time we passed through, whether it was music or magicians or trivia or even Zumba classes. And the shows in the Princess Arena were really quite good. In fact, they were better than we expected. And a small thing that was actually really nice is the shower in our stateroom had the best water pressure we've ever experienced at sea. That seems like a minor thing, and it is, but it was really nice. But overall, the Sun Princess was way overcrowded and completely underwhelming, falling very short of the premium experience they billed it as and we really hoped for. So yeah, But the next ship on our list brought some surprises of its own. Before I get to that, if you love cruising like I do, and you want to make sure you don't miss out on more great cruise content, go ahead and be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you're always in the loop with our latest reviews, tips, and rankings. So that out of the way, onto our next ship that was honestly a pretty big surprise as well. Another first for us was on Norwegian Cruise Line, which also marked our first Alaskan cruise, and we were genuinely excited to see what was ahead. With zero expectations for both Alaska and Norwegian, we enjoyed the trip overall, but it didn't quite land as a favorite. The Norwegian Encore is a beautiful ship with a lot of potential, but it's not well suited for Alaskan itineraries in my opinion. With no indoor pool besides the haven that most people don't have access to, and an outdoor promenade that's mostly unusable in cold weather, the ship felt overwhelmingly crowded. This was by far the most crowded cruise we've ever experienced, as the limited usable outdoor spaces forced everyone inside, making lounges, dining areas, and other indoor venues feel packed at all times. Activities on board also presented challenges. The go-kart track had a 2-hour wait, and when we got to ride, there were a lot of people in line behind us that also waited 2 hours that didn't get to go on at all. Attractions like this social nightclub bar and Dolce Gelato had very sporadic hours, making it difficult to really enjoy them, and the crew, while professional, just didn't seem as warm and friendly as what we typically experience on other cruise lines. Despite these issues though, there were some fantastic highlights. The thermal spa is one of the largest we've ever seen, with incredible ocean views that made it the perfect escape. The Galaxy Pavilion, which is this massive virtual reality arcade, provided hours of fun for the whole family. And our dinner at Le Bistro, which is their French specialty restaurant, was one of the best meals we've had at sea. Observation Lounge was also a huge standout, offering panoramic views that were absolutely breathtaking as we sailed through Glacier Bay. While there were absolutely parts of this cruise that we enjoyed, the challenges with crowding and sporadic activities held the Encore back from being a top-tier experience. But the next ship on our list also brought some unexpected surprises, so let's see how that one compares. And guys, a quick note here. Some of these at the bottom you may be like, that sounds terrible. They were not our favorite cruises, but we have never been on a bad cruise. We've never been on a cruise where we're like, wow, wish we didn't do that. Or it's like, wow, wish we were home. No, even the worst cruise still beats sitting at home or in the office or anything like that. So I just want to make sure that yes, these are the cruises that were at the bottom of our list for 2024, but they were still a really good experience. So with that out of the way, number 8. We were excited to sail on what at the time was Disney's newest ship, the Disney Wish, and see how it compared to our previous Disney cruises. The ship's design and attention to detail were as magical as we expected, with every space thoughtfully crafted. But despite Disney's premium pricing, often 2 to 3 times more expensive than other lines, the ship felt overwhelmingly crowded the majority of the cruise. Finding a seat in some of the amazing lounges like the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge or by the pool was nearly impossible during peak times. And while we knew a 3-day sailing would feel rushed, the crowds made it even harder to really fully enjoy the experience. That said, there were some standout moments that we really enjoyed. The Kids Club was a clear favorite for our children, by far the best they've ever experienced on any cruise. They love the themed spaces like the Star Wars Cargo Bay and Marvel Superhero Academy, along with creative activities in areas like Fairy Tale Hall that kept them engaged for hours. The main dining rooms also delivered a fun mix of entertainment and good food. Our servers even performed magic tricks at the table. Mackenzie appreciated the thoughtful vegetarian options each evening, and the kids menu had something new for them each night, which is not something you always see on a cruise ship. As for activities, we made a point to try the aqua coaster right after boarding, and it did not disappoint. In fact, we managed to ride it 7 times without even having to get back in line the majority of them. We had so much fun racing around the twists and turns. One unique Disney touch were the fireworks at sea. Watching them from our stateroom balcony made for a simple but special moment we will always remember. The Disney Wish had some standout moments, but the sheer number of people on board honestly made it really hard to fully enjoy. Still, it was a unique experience, and it was one that our kids really did love. The next ship on our list surprised me for completely different reasons.
What reasons?
Coming off 2 weeks of pure luxury in MSC's Yacht Club, I'll admit I was more than a little nervous about stepping aboard the cheapest cruise on the open seas, a 2-day sailing on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. But with an open mind and zero expectations, I was pleasantly surprised. This ship is definitely showing its age. In fact, it's the oldest ship I've ever been on, but it has its own charm. The food wasn't nearly as bad as what some reviewers make it out to be, and the crew was honestly phenomenal. I've never seen so many crew members memorize my name so quickly, especially impressive on a 2-day cruise where they meet new passengers every other day. The entertainment also stood out. While the shows weren't the big budget productions like you'll find on Royal Caribbean, the performers brought incredible energy and they were fun and engaging. I also really enjoyed the nightly piano sing-alongs and the Stars on the Water bar just outside the main theater. The intimate setting made for a cozy and fun experience even if seating was a bit limited. The sail away party was great as well, packed with lively music, an MC who knew how to bring the energy and a vibrant atmosphere that set the tone for the trip. Despite the ship's small size, it never felt crowded. It was easy to find a spot to relax or explore without feeling overwhelmed, which was honestly a refreshing change from larger, busier ships. Embarkation and debarkation could definitely use some improvement, but it wasn't enough to detract from the overall experience. Despite it being such a small ship, in fact the smallest ship I've ever sailed on, 2 days felt too short, but it was still plenty of time to experience everything on board. The Margaritaville at Sea Paradise showed that even the cheapest cruise can deliver a fun and memorable getaway as long as you have the right mindset going into it. Next up is the newest ship on our list, and it brought some very different surprises, so let's dive right in. The newest ship we sailed on in 2024 was the Utopia of the Seas, which debuted in July and immediately set a very high bar. This ship is stunning, with a lively atmosphere, incredible entertainment, and plenty to explore. At just 4 days long, our sailing wasn't nearly long enough to fully experience a ship of this size, but many areas felt familiar from previous Oasis-class ships. That said, we love the new additions like the Royal Railway, which is a fun and immersive experience that really stood out. While the food wasn't the best we've ever had at sea, it was solid, and honestly, we really liked the lobster and shrimp in the buffet on embarkation day. The solarium was another highlight. It was this peaceful, adults-only retreat that offered a nice escape from the more energetic parts of the ship. And energetic is a fitting description, as Royal Caribbean has dubbed Utopia the world's biggest weekend, and I would say it probably lives up to the title. With its party atmosphere, it's perfect for people looking to let loose on a short sailing, but that vibe wasn't exactly our style. The casino fit right in with the world's biggest weekend vibe. In fact, it was the busiest casino we have ever seen. Long lines at the table games were the norm, and the slot machines were constantly in use, making it tough to find an open one. On the plus side, the Royal Promenade, Central Park, and the boardwalk were all amazing, though to be honest, they didn't feel remarkably different from what we've seen on other Oasis-class ships. Where Utopia really shined though was the entertainment. The ice show Utopia was a highlight, and Aqua 82, their Aqua show, was a spectacular performance we'd gladly pay several $100s to see in Vegas, yet it's included in the fare. While the world's second largest cruise ship did have moments of crowding like in the buffet or waiting for shows, most of the time it felt surprisingly manageable. We had a fantastic time on the Utopia. While it lands in the bottom half of our rankings, that speaks more to the great journeys we had in 2024 than to the ship itself. Up next, we're shifting gears to a ship that brought some unique twists to our year. As we move into the top half of our 2024 rankings, the lines between ships start to blur. It's less about flaws in the top half and more about personal preference. The MSC Seashore is a perfect example of this. It's a magnificent ship that delivers everything you could want from a cruise, and it holds a special place in my heart as it was my first ever solo cruise. The Seashore is absolutely beautiful with luxury touches throughout, from its signature crystal staircases to sleek chrome finishes. The water park was a standout, offering a variety of slides, including a tube slide that was an absolute blast. Although it was a spring break sailing on a family-friendly ship, the crowds were surprisingly manageable. There were moments when you felt the ship's capacity, but it wasn't like some of the others on the list where it felt like you were simply moving from one crowd to another throughout the entire journey. The The food on the Seashore exceeded my expectations, especially after hearing so many mixed reviews online. Butcher's Cut delivered a fantastic steakhouse experience, and Hola Tacos was both delicious and a great value at just $18 for all you can eat tacos and Mexican cuisine. While the shows weren't the best I've seen, they were enjoyable, and I appreciated MSC sticking to the tradition of nightly dinner followed by a show rather than just a few big performances over the course of the cruise, as we've seen some cruise lines shift to, like Royal Caribbean and Norwegian. The jungle pool was another highlight, with its retractable roof offering a comfortable indoor space no matter the weather. In the casino, it was laid out beautifully with plenty of room to move around, a spacious central bar, and excellent service. Getting a drink was never an issue. Overall, the MSC Seashore is a stunning ship that provided a truly memorable solo cruise experience. And up next is a ship that redefined luxury for us in its own way. Coming in at number 4 is the Celebrity Apex, a truly modern ship with a stunning design that still feels welcoming, paired with an incredible crew that went above and beyond. While its sister ship, the Ascent, that we sailed on over Christmas in 2023, edges it out in a few key areas, the Apex still shines as a remarkable Edge-class vessel. One of my favorite parts of this sailing were the people. I made some truly amazing friends on the Apex, and if any of you are watching, miss you guys. You guys are all amazing. It's those connections that really elevate a great cruise into an unforgettable one. But it wasn't just about the people. Dining on the Apex was exceptional, with standout service and incredible food throughout. Eden is hands down our favorite restaurant on any ship, with its jaw-dropping aft views and an imaginative menu that left me wanting more. In fact, I dined there twice on our 7-day sailing. Entertainment was a bit of a mixed bag. The in-house production shows didn't quite hit the mark compared to other celebrity cruises we've taken, but guest headliner Andrew Derbyshire gave a performance that was nothing short of, honestly, phenomenal. He's easily the best guest performer I've ever seen on a cruise ship. The Martini Bar, while smaller than on newer Edge-class ships, was a lively and inviting space to grab a drink and connect with fellow cruisers. Overall, the Apex is a stunning ship that combines beautiful design, outstanding service, and unforgettable connections. It's hard to say goodbye to a ship like this, but next up is one that made a big impression with its bold design and luxury features. So let's dive in. The MSC Seascape is a newer, slightly refined version of its sister ship that I already talked about, the Seashore, and it brought some fresh surprises to the table. From cutting-edge attractions to an exceptional crew, this ship elevated the experience in all the right ways. One of the most exciting additions is Robotron, which is this robotic arm that swings you high above the ocean as it dances to upbeat music and lighting. It's like a theme park ride with unbeatable views of the sea, a thrill you really won't find anywhere else. A more subtle change that I also appreciated was the addition of music and lights as you race down the tube slide in the water park. The Seascape is just as stunning as the Seashore, with its signature crystal staircases, sleek chrome finishes, and modern design. But what really sets it apart was the crew. They were friendlier, faster, and more engaging than we expected, even compared to the already solid team on the Seashore. And I'd be remiss to not mention my favorite drink on any cruise ship that I was introduced to on the Seascape: the salted caramel espresso martini. While other cruise lines offer something similar, they don't come close to MSC's version, which is made with freshly brewed espresso at nearly all the bars across the ship. It's the perfect combination: indulgent sweetness and bold coffee flavor. We stayed in the yacht club on both ships, and while it doesn't factor into these rankings, if they did count, the Seascape would be an easy pick for our number 1 cruise of 2024. But it doesn't, so it's coming in at number 3. The food, entertainment, and overall vibe of the Seascape was fantastic. It's a ship that knows how to balance fun and relaxation while keeping things stylish and welcoming. The Seascape proved that even small tweaks can make a big impact, earning it a well-deserved spot in the top 3. Next up, we're stepping back in time to a ship that captures the charm of classic cruising, but in all the best ways.
Oh, this is classic.
The Celebrity Equinox may have been one of the oldest ships we sailed on in 2024, but what it lacked in modern high-tech features, it made up for with classic cruise, charm, and incredible service. This was a 9-day Mediterranean cruise, and it was just Mackenzie and I. And while we stayed in the retreat, its setup wasn't as luxurious as what we experienced on the Apex. Since the Equinox wasn't originally designed to have a retreat, the spaces felt scattered. The retreat sun deck all the way at the top in particular was underwhelming, with just lounge chairs, but no pool, no hot tub, and not even a bar. Thankfully, that was really the only downside of an otherwise amazing cruise. The food was exceptional, with Blue being our favorite restaurant. Its aft views, healthy menu, and superior service even outshined?
That's right, Evan.
It even outshone Lumine, the usual highlight for retreat guests. When it came to bars, honestly, the Sky Observation Lounge completely stole the show. With its stunning forward views and open design, it's a space we wish hadn't been replaced on newer celebrity ships, where you'll now find the retreat. The entertainment was top-notch, from in-house productions to guest headliners. Every show across the 9 nights on board was absolutely incredible. We also loved the Lawn Club with its real grass and open spaces. The glass-blowing experience up there was unlike anything we've done on a cruise ship, and we really enjoyed it. We spent several late nights up in this area at the Sunset Bar after the ship, talking about life and our families and our futures with some new friends that we made on board. Celebrity's smoke-free casino was another highlight. The friendly dealers and talented bartenders made it a great spot to unwind. We also loved the world-class bar, home to one of my favorite cruise drinks, the Azteca, which is a tequila cocktail with a kick. Overall, the Equinox delivered a nearly flawless cruise, but our number one ship takes things to an entirely different level. Some may even call it iconic.
I meant iconic.
Before I share our favorite ship of 2024, if you're enjoying this countdown, if you do me a favor and like this video and subscribe to my channel, it'd mean more than you know. A lot of hard work goes into creating this content for you guys. While I love what I do, I also appreciate those of you that take the time to engage with my content. So if that's you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Our final cruise of 2024 was aboard the Icon of the Seas, and we truly saved the best for last. As the world's largest cruise ship, we were concerned about navigating crowds with over 7,000 passengers on board. But thanks to its massive size and thoughtful design, we rarely felt crowded, a remarkable feat for a ship of this scale. The shows on the Icon were nothing short of incredible. The Broadway production of The Wizard of Oz was spectacular, and the Aqua show, called Aqua Action, left us breathless with its daredevil stunts, stunning music, and precise choreography. While the ice show Starburst didn't quite reach the level of Utopia's ice show, the entertainment on board was still world class. The only real downside here is that to make space for these amazing high production shows, the lineup repeats on several nights, meaning you don't get a different show every evening like you do on more traditional cruise ships. Thrill Island, which is the ship's water park, is in a league of its own. The slides are far better than anything we've experienced on other ships, including the Oasis class. And it wasn't just the slides either. It has Flow Rider, mini golf, and base camp where you can grab a drink or a quick bite. While lines for the slides could get long at peak times, we avoided the wait by hitting them on embarkation day as soon as we boarded the ship. It was the perfect way to kick things off. Dining was another highlight, with excellent included options like Loco Fresh, which Mackenzie loved for its fresh Mexican fare. We also enjoyed Playmakers, the best sports bar at sea, as we watched the Bills take down the Lions in a huge game. Well, most of us enjoyed that. Mackenzie wasn't as thrilled as the rest of us were because she is a big Lions fan. We also had a great hibachi experience at Izumi, and we enjoyed dinner several nights at Coastal Kitchen, where although the ambiance didn't match what we saw in the Utopia, the service and food were top notch. The Icon even exceeded expectations in the little things, like our room steward was the best we have ever had. He was always smiling, always present, and incredibly efficient. In fact, I don't even know how he got anything else done, because it seemed like he was always there anytime we needed him. We also met some wonderful new friends and found the kids on board to be well behaved and were never an issue despite how many of them there were. Honestly, the Icon was the perfect way to cap off our first year as family at sea here on YouTube. It set the bar incredibly high for future cruises, but we're up for the challenge of finding the next ship to take the mantle at the top of our favorite ships. Now that you've seen how our 2024 cruises stacked up, it's time to look ahead to what's next. The bad news, if you skip this next video, you might miss out on the most exciting new ships debuting in 2025. The good news, I've got you covered. In the video linked above, I'll take you through the best new cruise ships of 2025, from groundbreaking designs to the onboard experiences you will not want to miss. So click it now and let's see what the future of cruising has in store. And as always guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, may your seas be smooth and your horizons wide. Bon voyage.